So I got a buck on camera the other day, and he is an absolute giant. I'm really bad at judging off the hoof, but I want to say he's 150 inches, maybe 160. I don't know. You guys let me know in the comments. I'm terrible at judging off the hoof. He's the biggest deer I have on camera right now. I named him Barney, but he has been showing up very consistently in this bean field over the last 2 weeks. He just showed up, and now he shows up a couple times a week with this group of deer. There's like 3 fawns, 2 does, 2 or 3 smaller bucks, and it's weird. It's this bachelor group is just hanging out with these does, but they come out almost every night. At least this one doe in particular comes out every single night. But a lot of times she's with this group of deer, and Barney shows up a fair amount of times with this group as well. So this is going to be a kind of an area of interest for me this early season, especially with these late beans in the field here. They're young and green. I'm currently sitting in a hedgerow right now behind me, and walking in here, there's like 4 or 5 beds up and along here. These beans are nibbled down, so I know that these deer are literally just bedding here, standing up, nibbling beans, and laying back down. They have a great view of everything in front of them, but I'm sitting here tonight just scouting this spot. I mean, if they're going to come out, hopefully I'll see them. There's this little ridge up in front of me, so it's going to be hard to kind of see the edge of the field, but if they come up over that knoll, I'll be waiting here. We're going to watch them, and I got a camera on them, so see what happens. I got one of the 3 fawns out in front of me. She's probably about 100 yards. She kept looking back, so there's definitely more deer back in the corner. Look at that sunset. God is good. So that was actually a really cool evening. I honestly wasn't expecting to really see anything. I really wanted to, but I wasn't expecting it. And then I looked up, and there was that fawn, and she hung around pretty much all evening, yeah, and got some great footage of her. So it was just really cool to sit there and watch that thing for a while. But I think that spot right there might actually be a decent spot to hunt if the deer do that the rest of the season. They come that close. I mean, she was 30, 40 yards there. It might be worth setting up in that spot. But we're going to do this again. We're going to come scouting a few more times here before the season starts. And before I know it, I'll come out here and I'll bring my bow with me. Because if that buck shows, you bet your bottom dollar I might sling an arrow at him if he comes close enough. We are checking trail cameras today. It's been probably a week and a half, maybe, since I pulled camera cards last. There's a monster buck on the camera, guys. I mean, a monster. This ridgeline food plot that I planted up here is absolutely insane looking. Like, just look at this plot. We got these brassicas, this clover, these forage seeds. This is just looking beautiful. There's a couple spots that are kind of thin back there. There's not much brassicas coming up. A little thinner out here because it's really dry in that spot. But overall, this plot is looking really nice, guys. The deer I named Barney. This is where I first saw him, actually standing right here. He showed up twice down this spot, came out in that area, walked out into here. So this is the ceremony plot. This is a spot that I weed whacked and then just broadcasted seed on. As you can see, the stuff is growing. Just very, very ever so slowly though. That's all the sunlight it gets. And at this time of year, the sun likes to do about that number right there. It's never really getting up there, so it doesn't get a ton of sunlight in here, but it was worth a shot. This is the latest food plot I planted. I call this the sanctuary plot because this whole area is kind of a deer sanctuary, and this is the only part of the plot I'm hunting. But this plot actually goes back that trail and opens up into another big plot, which I'll go and show you in a second. But this plot here, doing good. We've actually got a tree stand set up right there. So the idea, we'll be able to hunt an east wind, a north wind, and even like a south wind in this tree stand. But basically, the plots down there cannot hunt an east wind, just will not work. So we've got this stand set up, which is perfect for an east wind because, well, that's a yard out there, house is up there. Walk down the yard, super easy access, can get in here really quietly without spooking any deer. Get up in there, east wind, gonna be great. We've got this area, which is a deer honey hole, or hopefully deer will come out into this plot, which I know they do because there's deer tracks in here. Let's see if I can find one. Got a track right here. So I planted this 4-wheeler trail here too. It's growing, not super quick, but it's growing, and leads back to this plot back here. Here's the rest of the plot. This is where we've actually had a food plot before, a couple years ago. The problem with this plot, as you can see, is all the grass. So when I was down here tilling up this soil, I actually blew a tire on the tractor, so I wasn't able to get this ground tilled up super well. But I exposed plenty of soil. There was plenty of seed to soil contact. Took the drag hair over it. It's not worked up the best. It didn't rip up the sod much, so a lot of this grass is coming back. But if we get down here, amongst all this grass here, we've still got lots of brassicas, clovers in here, and forage seed, but it's kind of all blended together here. But there's a lot of stuff in here. Hopefully the deer will still find it delicious. And there is a trail camera down at the end of this plot. We're gonna go pull the card now. So at the beginning of the video, this is actually the field that I was sitting over, and that's where the fawn came out. But I just gotta show you guys this right now. So take a look at all these beans. They're super short right here, super short. And all along there, just, I mean, look at the difference in those beans, how you get these tall beans and then super short. And look at this hole. That was where I had put a mineral block, and the deer literally dug a hole. There's nothing there anymore, but there is a hole there. So down in there, it's a south-facing hill, super thick, not our property. The property line is just inside there. But the deer come up out of here pretty much every single night, and I bet as soon as I leave here, there's gonna be deer out in this field. But this is where Barney has shown up like 15 different times. So we're gonna pull the card here. I'm really hopeful. If he's still showing up, that is huge. I'm afraid that as we get closer to hunting season, that he's gonna end up switching ranges over to his fall range, because I've never had a buck during late summer show up this consistently. So I'm a little worried that maybe this was his home, and then fall is gonna come and he's gonna switch his range. That'd be really disappointing.